On today's Regional Contact segment, the gift of flight.
CTV's Joel Haslam shares the story of a mini biplane and an unbreakable bond forged in the sky.
We'll dip in live and then say we'll go to Johnny later on in the show.
John Rotondo produces the news at noon on CTV Ottawa.
You're clear. Stand by 4.
My job involves kind of gathering everything that's happening on that particular day. 2 minutes, Johnny, 2 minutes, and putting it together into a show that tells the story of that day. Okay, Johnny, great hit. Thanks, you're clear. See you, brother.
Away from work, John trades one headset for another.
I can't picture my life without flying.
His craft is a Smith Mini, a 1950s design open cockpit biplane.
It takes you back to an age in aviation that we don't have anymore. It's gone.
It's a single-seater, but John's never flying solo.
If I want to be with my dad, I come here, I get in the airplane, I fire up when I go. And it's one seat, but I know he's with me. I feel that.
When it comes to flight, John and father Tony Rotondo have always been together.
I'm not exaggerating when I say I grew up at the Rockcliffe Airport.
A longtime aviator, Tony once piloted a Smith Mini too, sharing his love for the air before his son was steady on the ground.
My earliest memories are sitting in my dad's Smith Miniplane, pretending that I was flying.
At 18, John would fly solo, later become an aerobatics instructor, the man who inspired him taking the stick during sky-high adventures.
It was like watching a master at work. I think the hardest part of that was I knew it was our last flight. Like I knew it. Somewhere in me I knew.
Tony Rotondo died after an ongoing battle with cancer. To ease the grief and honor his dad's memory, John gave wings to a personal tribute.
I said I'm going to track down his old airplane.
And he did. The Mini is now a play structure at the Granby Zoo.
My love of flight came from sitting in that airplane and pretending to fly. Now you've got dozens of youngsters every day that climb in and do the same thing.
Finding the plane was but one piece of his dad's aviation story. Longing to know more, he began researching and chronicling Tony Rotondo's past.
So I decided the best way to do that was to find a Smith Miniplane, fly it, retrace his flights, and see things through his eyes, and then write about it.
John found a Smith Mini last May, drifted home to Rockcliffe along the same flight path followed by his dad.
It's the first time in almost 30 years that there's a Smith Miniplane based at the Rockcliffe Airport.
And the second time, its pilot is a Rotondo. When John takes to the sky and shares his story in words, he honors a father and son's love for aviation and each other.
But I asked him once, I said, you know, like, what do you want to do when you retire? He never got that chance, right? And he said, you know, like, we'd get 2 airplanes and we'd fly across the country. Once he said it. So I said, hey, you know, like, we can't do that anymore. But this is the next best thing, right? It's a great legacy. It's a huge legacy, and it's something that I want to pass on.
In Ottawa, I'm Joel Haslam for Regional Contact.
Wow, Tony would be very proud of his son today. Very
Beautiful,
proud.
beautiful, beautiful story.
Jonathan's writings on his dad's past have received national recognition by the Canadian Owners and Pilots Association.
To discover more about Jonathan's journey and his dad's aviation history, check out his blog, Finding Sam, or Foxtrot Alpha Mike.
It's a very touching story. We provided a link on our website at ottawa.ctvnews.ca.
You can also follow future adventures on Twitter at Finding Sam.
We'll be right back.